Hi, my name is Coco. I'm a health and wellness coach, and I'm hailing from a coolish Auckland, New Zealand. I'd like to take a moment to remind you to be calm, to be well, and to be healthy. So, I have finally made it into New Zealand to see my brother. He had his accident on the 28th of May 2020, and it has taken me quite a while to obtain the appropriate information to be able to leave Australia. So I am a New Zealand citizen, but I am also an Australian citizen, and I have an Australian passport, not a New Zealand passport. So one actually requires permission to leave the country. So I was at the airport a week ago on a Saturday, and so Saturday, June the 13th, and not realizing that I had to apply to leave the country and also enter the country, into New Zealand, I was turned away. Had to rebook my ticket for Thursday just gone, and well, I'm here, so it all worked. Now, what I can say is, if you are flying out, if you're like myself and you're flying home but you're on a foreign passport, check with immigration as to what you need to do. So I started ringing June the 4th, requesting information from Air New Zealand. Now, Air New Zealand is the only uh, carrier um, that is transporting people from Australia to New Zealand and back again. The problem with them is that they didn't tell me that I would require permission to leave Australia and to enter New Zealand. I guess the presumption was that I was a New Zealand citizen carrying a New Zealand passport. Now, there is the age old adage that presumption is the mother of all bleep pups. Anyway, so even I rang immigration department and the health department in New Zealand, and I guess because I hadn't thought of it to say that, oh, I'm a New Zealand citizen, Australian citizen on New Zealand, a dual citizen traveling on an Australian passport. So if I had known that, then I probably would have been here on Saturday. But I'm actually glad that I didn't, because I met Carolyn, who was down on her luck, and I've been helping her to get on her feet. So the other thing is that although it's not a great amount of space, it is still some space for us to go outside and enjoy the weather. It was cool and raining a little bit on and off today, but it was fairly pleasant. And I have my gorgeous fur coat that I obtained from a secondhand shop. I don't know, about 4 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago. So perfect. So it keeps me nice and warm. So the complication with leaving the country, I had several rejected applications. When I was at the airport, I was advised by the border staff that I had to apply, and they gave me a piece of paper that indicated the link that I needed to complete. However, what they didn't inform me was the amount of information that was required. So I actually had maybe 4 or 5 rejected applications. And what I can say, that if you're traveling like I am traveling for my brother, then medical records, if they're in hospital, obviously something, if somebody has passed away, something to signify that they have passed, something of significance, and create a story, a compelling story. Like my first application was rejected within about 90 minutes. The second application was ignored. The third application was rejected. The fourth application, I was completely intent on that stage and completely focused, and I obtained appropriate medical records, the ones that I had obtained, which was the discharge from Wellington Hospital, did not suffice. So I ended up having to get more medical records for the hospital that my brother is currently in. So my brother Artene is, for those of you who are not aware, suffered a brain injury as a direct result of falling off the back of a truck whilst he was at work. So we are, so I am currently in my hotel room. This is my hotel room. It's a pleasant hotel room. It's fairly large. Have my own bathroom. It is kind of restrictive because I have to eat the food that they serve. Although I can order my own stuff in, but the food's adequate. It's not the type of food that I would ordinarily eat. It's really heavy. It's typical New Zealand fare, which is heavy and high sugar, high fat. Well, not really high fat, but there's a lot of sugar. There is still fat. New Zealanders like fattening food. I, on the other hand, I like fresh. I like lots of vegetables, and I don't eat a lot of meat. And I've been making the mistake of ordering meat in, and my body just, I've actually had to waste a lot of food. And I hate wasting food, but I had to do it because my body just can't. My body just can't cope with all this dense, heavy food. So unfortunately, I've done something I don't ordinarily do. Waste food, but a lot of it, such a shame, because there were people who were starving, and I've wasted enough food for two adults to be eating, so I don't feel good about that. But my body just can't cope with New Zealand fare. I'm used to like stir fries, so crunchy vegetables, lots and lots of crunchy vegetables, rice. Now I do eat pasta, but I don't eat a lot of it. I don't eat a lot of meat. I'm more a chicken eater, but I don't eat a lot of chicken. So and I eat a lot of birch muesli. So I've been sort of relegated to the Cocoa Pops and Nutri-Grain and the like. Not a fan of that sort of sugary food because it's just full of air, and so one ends up being starving within minutes. So it's just lucky that I'm only used to eating 2 meals a day, plus a few snacks. So I'm definitely missing my muesli, and I'm missing the type of cuisine that I would make. So it is what it is. I'm just going to start ordering vegetarian food from now on because that's basically what my body likes, and I'll order the occasional meat dish. So that's probably the only real gripe, and the fact, of course, I can't go out of the complex and just go roaming like I normally would, but it's a small price to pay. So my brother himself is coping very well. He is recovering well, and I have complete confidence that he'll recover fully. Complete confidence. How long that takes, now that I'm in the country, it won't take long at all. It will take as long as it takes. However, I am keen to go back to Australia because I'm very Aussie, but I've got to start making money. So I've been during COVID-19. I've been doing everything for free, and I don't mind. You got to do what you got to do. But I am keen to start making money again. Start working. The health and wellness sector opens tomorrow, June 22nd, in Australia. I'm not sure what's happening here in New Zealand. I don't have any plans to be working here. Pay rates here are just, from my perspective, are atrocious. I wouldn't even wake up. I wouldn't even roll over in bed for the amounts that people are paid here. I find, for me, they're insulting. Yeah, I'll just be honest. For me, they're insulting. So, like I said, I won't even roll over in bed for the amounts that people are paid here in New Zealand. But anywho, that's not what that's about. I guess that's just the system that's in operation here. And I can honestly say that I've spent most of the last 3.5 weeks bolstering other people because their coping mechanisms are poor. My actual family relatives have been really awesome. My brother has received a lot of love and support from everybody, and I'm glad that he's doing well, and I'm glad for all the love and support that he's received. And I do look forward to seeing him so that I can tell him to get out of bed and stop being lazy and get out there and go to work. Only I can say that. There are very few of us who'll be able to say that to him, that he'll take it on the chin. I'm one of them. Um, Anywho, I can honestly say that it's been really, 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 really busy. I guess the one thing that I need to learn to do, and this is something I really need to rectify, it is learning how to sleep. Now, I must admit, I was inundated with all these text messages, blah 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 blah, because people don't cope as well as I do. So I think I was reduced to like in a night maybe 3 to 5 hours of sleep, but usually only for 2 hours of consecutive, sleep. So by the time I hit New Zealand, I was exhausted because I was still having to help friends who, yeah, I still needed to help friends. But I'm here in New Zealand and I'm looking forward to actually completing, helping Carolyn to get her life together. So, unfortunately, she, being Kiwi citizen, wasn't eligible for any payments from Australia. So, she really had a really difficult time. But there are some good people out there in Australia. There are good people all over the world who are there to help and support people. So fortunately, she met some good ones, and then she met me, and I'm helping it piece her together, as well as the wonderful staff, Ministry of Health, DJ. Um, he's been most excellent, and everybody's been really beautiful. So I am privileged to be here, and so it's restricted, but such is life. How inconvenient for me, the girl who likes to go wherever she likes and likes to cycle and likes to, yeah, like I said, do as she pleases. I must admit, because I didn't buy into any of the behaviours that other people adopted. It's been I've had to train myself in the last couple of days to remember to take my mask and wear it most importantly. And we have these green bands. I take mine off because I can, and just being mindful that, yeah. So I know I'm healthy, and I know that, yeah, but we just have to be careful. So we're in isolation, and we actually have a small area which we can go out and chillax in. I don't smoke, but I've been hanging out with the smokers because, well, it's outside, and it's actually a really pleasant area. There's a fish pond, and there's a really really good. There's a lot of tables and chairs, so it's really awesome. And I'm looking forward to be going outside to where the grass is green. It is green. It's green grass, and I'm looking forward to going out there a couple times a day to exercise because I need to be out on the grass, and I need to exercise. I mean, I can exercise on the small space there. I can just move furniture around, but I guess I'll practice yoga tomorrow in here and then head downstairs and do some Pilates or do something physical. Because the food that I'm eating is really typical New Zealand dense food, and I don't eat like that. I like stir fries, and I like crunchy vegetables, and I prefer chicken, but I don't eat a lot of meat or chicken for that matter. And I like bircher muesli. I make my own bircher muesli, and so I'm sort of having to eat the Cocoa Pops and Nutri-Grain, which is high sugar. It's just sugar basically. I'm eating sugar, so there's a lot of sugar in my diet at present, and I don't actually eat a lot of sugar. I drink a lot of milk, so I would go through a litre of milk a day ordinarily at home, which is protein. Yeah, it's fat, and of course there's lactose, so it's sugar. But yeah, I'm missing milk. Now I can drink a lot of milk here too if I wanted, but there's no microwave, so I can't heat it. So, such is life. These are just the compromises that one has to make. And of course, I can't go and make my own food. And yes, I can order my own food, but I can't cook it. So I may as well just suck it up and eat I'm going to start ordering vegetarian, just so that my body, because my body is wondering, what am I doing to it? And it always does when I come to New Zealand. If I'm eating food that other people prepare, then it doesn't take long before my body to go, what's happening? We don't like this. Go back to Australia. So after a couple of days of eating the dense, heavy food, my body is just saying, go home to Australia where you eat properly. I'm just going to have to stick it out. So 11 more days in quarantine, isolation, and then I'll be able to see my brother. So my brother, for those of you who may not be aware, is recovering from a brain injury. He was injured at work. He fell off the back of a truck. And as a direct result of that, he's recovering relatively well, and I expect him to make a full recovery. How long I'll be here in New Zealand will be completely dependent upon how well I think he's progressing. I just need him to be at about 66%, because his 66% is a normal average person's 100%. So he only needs to be 66%. Now, that doesn't mean that he goes rushing back to work, although I know that he's keen, super, super, super keen to get out of the hospital that he's in. I know he doesn't like it there. He's an outdoors person. That's where he belongs. So I know that he's super keen to get back there. But he, like me, like you know, that if you don't have it here, you don't have it anywhere. Cheers.